Hey Cubicle Crashers, I'm Lydia Lee and welcome to another episode of Screw the Cubicle TV, where we'll be exploring the freedom-based mindset and how you can create a lifestyle and business that is cubicle free, of course, and on your own terms. So this week I'm going to talk about the 3 things that you need to get clear on before you say I quit. So I know you totally want to just write that resignation letter and declare your newfound freedom and then maybe beat the shit out of that printer that just never worked in the office. And this is like a glorious day to be had. Trust me, you'll have this day and it's amazing. So before we do all that, you kind of need to know where you're going to go. That's why you've been daydreaming about this and you've been pondering about and flirting with this idea, but haven't made a move. So you need to know the destination and what you're going to do for work if you actually leave the 9 to 5. And so before you can say screw it, you have to really know where am I going to go to make money. You know, girls got to eat, girls gotta take care of business for herself and create a plan. Most of us don't really have that high risk threshold where we're just like, okay, forget everything and I'm going to make it work in 30 days. Very rare this happens, and of course I didn't do the same thing. So this week I'm going to share with you the 3 things you have to get clear on before you can quit your job and start crafting your escape plan. What the heck do I do for a living if I quit? For shizzle, of course you haven't taken the leap if you have no idea where you're going and what you're going to do for work. So when was the last time you actually found out what you're really great at? So I really believe in taking this inventory of skills, an inventory of all your natural talents and strength that you want to keep in the tool belt, and figure out how you can mix them together and produce kind of this unique blend of you to create a business idea that also encompasses things that you're interested in, you know, your passions. And how do we, actually another question to give yourself is when in the whole past of your work experience or your personal life, how have you been of value to other people? How have people expressed to you that you've helped them about something specific, you've solved something for them that really changed their lives? Like, take inventory of that as well, because how you help really at the end of the day, or what problems that you've solved in the past, is important for you to add into that whole concoction of building that business idea. So if you're figuring out, or you're trying to figure out how you can tie this all in, you might be interested to take my free course on my website called What the Fuck Am I Meant to Do with My Life, which is really going to help you identify this inventory check or this genius zone check. So you're a little bit more familiar with what kind of tools you have to play with. And the second thing to think about, which is, what is your break-even point? Do you actually know what that financial number is for you to be able to sustain the lifestyle that you're currently having, or the one that you want to have? So a lot of times, and I did this in the beginning too, so I'm totally, guilty of this too, is I'll say a statement like, you know what, I'll just quit my job when I can build a business that matches the salary of my current job. And sometimes that's a bit not right, actually, because first of all, I didn't know that was true. I just was paid that amount of money, and I'm sure you're in that spot as well. And you think, yeah, of course I need all this money for sure. And every time I've been looking at my bank account, I really aren't saving anything anyway. So you really need to, and do this with a financial advisor, or do this with someone, a friend maybe, that just is really good at banking or looking at numbers, and really identifying how much does it really cost for you to have the life that you want. And going through your internet banking, or just going through what you're paying for bills every month, really helps with that and categorizes where you're spending most of your money. And then looking for spots where you can consolidate. So when I was able to look at my tuition or my student loans that I was paying, and my line of credits and credit cards and all these other things that were debt in a way, could I consolidate it with another account that can give me a lower interest rate and give me one lump sum amount, so that it's just clearer for me to know what bills I'm paying every month. And then looking at things to eliminate really is, you probably don't have to be eating out all the time or buying things, because there's this bigger goal for you now. So being able to say no and saving some money so that you have a much healthier number to reach, that's going to be essential for you really discovering what's that magic number for you. So knowing your break-even point really gives you a reality check of what is it exactly that you have to really make to be able to have a comfortable life, and what can you, as I said, eliminate or consolidate to make that number even more comfortable. Now, here's another thing that I wish I knew when I quit my job, because I was in Vancouver, and if you're in somewhat of a first world city type of location, you'll know that things are expensive. So most of my paychecks, of course, is going towards living expenses and eating. And when I discovered there was this kind of revolution of people that are leaving the first world and going to places like where I am now in Bali, you can probably hear the chickens, or Costa Rica or Argentina, where it's a great lifestyle and is safe and comfortable to live live, but actually at a fraction of the cost. So I remember one of my earlier blog posts was titled, How Do I Live in a Tropical Paradise for Less than $1,000 a month with all the fixings like massages and eating out all the time. And it is possible. So do some research on alternative ways to live. So when you actually escape the traditional life, technically you might even want to explore and have an adventure and travel abroad. And that this is now very safe for people like us that are expats, that are from the Western world but want to save more of their money and actually have an adventure while they live and work in a mobile environment. So take a look at those things, but definitely most importantly is really understand that golden number, and then you know what you're playing with, and you're not lying to yourself to go, well, I'll just quit when this happened, and you don't have any basis for that. So do that research, get courageous, look at that number and know that you can change that and you can adjust it strategically, like I said, like me, moving to Bali and saving more of my money. And the third thing to think about, what is the exchange? So what are you actually giving up and what are you hoping to gain instead? So this is the funny thing about your brain and the logic part of you that will come up. It's going to go, all right, we're giving up this job we don't like, and then to have what instead? Or I'm giving up going out on the weekends and drinking, and then what I get because of that. So there needs to be, or you need to really know personally what that exchange is for yourself. And then that way, you know, you can actually define what it is that you're not happy about in your current life, list them. So take out a pad and paper, you know, have 2 columns and write down one, what am I giving up? And the other one, what am I actually wanting to gain? What's the exchange for each piece that you're putting down? And God damn it, you know, if you don't like the life that you're in, you're craving these big changes, then tell yourself what you actually really want. Take some time to reflect on that. Be honest with yourself, even if it doesn't seem like it's going to happen today. You're training your brain to really dream and envision something that isn't reality yet, but it doesn't mean that it can't. You know, we live in this world of information right now. If anything, it's a lot of it, and you have to decipher it for yourself and discern it. But, you know, we live in the most modern time with technology where anything that you want to find out about anything really is on the internet. So if you're unsure about how to do things, or you've never done this before, you've never quit your job, you've never known how to build a business, there's always ways to find out how other people have done it. So you can really feed new evidence to your brain to really say, hey, this is actually quite possible for me, you know, and that I can do it too. There's no difference between me and this other person. So it's your job to find that out for yourself, because no one is really going to be knocking on your door and saying to you, oh my God, here it is, you know, every answer that you really want to know how to craft your life is here on a silver platter. It doesn't work like that. You need to make these bite-sized steps to really get things clear for you. And what's clear for you could be different for somebody else. So find out what it is that's going to give you the courage to finally go, wow, this is actually a possibility for me. But doing nothing at all well, it's nothing at all. So, you know, when Einstein said that quote about his definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting a different result, well, that is kind of what we do sometimes when we're afraid to move. So you don't have to make a huge jump. You can just find out these little details about answers that you need, and then you'll start to kind of solve these little problems and build that momentum, so that when it's time for you to leave, you'll have kind of put the pieces into place and make it safe enough for you to leave. So I would like to hear from you which piece of my 3 things to clarify for yourself before you quit that you started to implement this week. And of course, I'm here to answer all your questions. Anything that you email me or comment on the blog post of this video at my website that you can get over here, I will respond to personally, and I will tell you everything that I know about quitting the 9-to-5, the transition period, and what you really need to get ready so that you don't fall in the mud. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Hey, thank you so very much for watching Screw the Cubicle TV, and don't forget to subscribe below to get all the latest cubicle crushing content on how to quit your 9-to-5 and create a life and business on your own terms.